Welcome back to Tag Happy VR. Today we're going to be checking out Black Hole Pool on the MetaQuest app lab. And don't forget, if you comment, subscribe, comment. I still have that March 2022 giveaway. Get your name out there, let me see you. And you'll go into the draw to win one of those copies of Squingle. I've got 2 copies to give away, and I will be announcing the winner in a video very early next month. That's April, and you need to watch it, see if it's you. You need to claim your prize. Anyway, let's jump on into a Black Hole Pool and work out whether this one should be a part of your collection. Welcome to Black Hole Pool. This is it. This is the lobby. It's pretty cool, to be honest. I think they're doing a really good job. The coloring, the graphic, that's just the art design. They got a bit of chit chat. Kind of sounds like it's coming from kind of the maybe the pub at the front of this section here. Got your YouTube that you can kind of plug into. I love it. I think they've done a really good job. So congratulations on the team there. In front of me, straight away, you kind of got the menu that kind of pops up in your hand. So you got the game, the settings, the profile, leaderboard, and controls. Now the settings, very basic. You're left to right-handed. I'm left-handed when I play ball, so my right hand's on the table. Okay, motion sickness, and I do recommend having that turned on. Okay, for majority of people. As you kind of rotate in the game, it gets rid of the environment around us. So the environment that we're looking at is not spinning around us standing still. Okay, I feel like a lot of people who do get motion sickness get it because of that reason. When you are naturally looking left and right, you just don't get motion sickness anywhere near the same, or even at all, okay? So I do recommend that and turning that on. Ambient sound, I like to have that kind of playing in the background. And then you kind of got your felt color there. Okay, classic blue. But that's about it. That's it. You can't change the graphics. To be honest, they've done a really good job on the graphics. A few jaggedy edges. But I have to say, man, I've seen some games officially released whose graphics aren't as clean as this, and the art design isn't as good. So I'm not going to complain there. Okay. Profile, it tells you become a ranking, things like that. Now, this is more of a first impressions, okay? You got your leaderboard. You got your controls. I'm going to go over those controls over at the table very shortly. And then you've kind of got your game. Now, your game, you got your practice, play against a computer, ranked games, play ranked 1 versus 1. Okay, so you're going to wait for a match to kind of appear with another real human being, and you play them to kind of build out a ranking system. And then you kind of got your invitations. There is a tutorial. I know that when you first boot into this game, it goes into your tutorial, and then thereafter, it doesn't. Fantastic. Okay. I do recommend just doing the tutorial to begin with. Then you kind of got your invitations. You can use Oculus Party and travel together. Now, I've never used Oculus Party, to be honest. I've never played a game where the only multiplayer option is Oculus Party. So I'm going to need to look into that and work out, how do I explain that to my dad? What does he need to do? Typically it's nice just to be able to create a room name, and then your other player wanting to play with you just jumps into the room via that room name. Anyway, let's just hit the back button there. Look, I mean, it's pool. You don't need to see me play against a human being. You don't need to see me play against a computer. I mean, it's going to be pretty boring watching me play a whole game terribly anyway. But I was going to quickly go into practice here. You got your 8 or 9 balls, rack 8 ball, rack 9 ball, and then you kind of got drills that you can set up. Okay, as well. So I'm just going to kind of go rack 8 ball. Now, to kind of get out of this menu system wherever you are, it's the flat left button on your left controller. The menu button, pretty much where it is always. Now, on your 2 toggle buttons, okay, the right toggle button moves you up and down. Now, typically when I am playing, 95% of the time, I get it set and I just leave it, okay? Every now and then I kind of grab my grip finger to kind of push myself up and down in the environment like some other games, but I'm quite happy with what they've done here. It doesn't really bother me at all, purely because once you set it, you kind of forget it. Now, this other one is to move you forward and backwards on the table, depending on if you want to kind of play short or really kind of reach over when you're playing pool. I typically like to play short. Okay, I find it's more stable, especially if there's no table. Now, I have given this a crack where I have measured the height of the table to a coffee table that we've got, and then I can place my hand on the coffee table, which feels like I'm placing it actually on the pool table in the game. And I have to say, this particular game, you're not really doing locomotion or teleporting yourself around the room. Okay, it's kind of the opposite. You stay still and the environment moves around you. Okay, you gotta become accustomed to those types of VR mechanics. But I feel like if you really had to use one or the other, I feel like what I've chosen would be the preferred method. It would be cool though to have a locomotion design. Okay, I'm just saying, but I feel like in the long run, people just naturally do what they've set up anyway, okay, where the environment moves around you. Now, another thing as a tip is you can kind of get a pool cue, obviously a pool cue. I'm talking about a VR accessory here, the golf handle, and then use it as a pool cue in the game. Kind of like how people use guns, stocks, and first-person shooters to get a more stable and accurate shot. Okay, likewise, I've seen some people do that with a golf club, and I really want to do that, to be honest. I think a golf club and then just using your bench table, I think will completely elevate this game completely. And it's not too much. I mean, most people have a little bench table in their house, a dining room table or something, you know what I mean? Okay. Anyway, so we've spoken about up and down on your right toggle to move the table up and down, and then you got your forward and backwards on the left toggle. Okay, you've got your flat left menu button once again for the menu. Okay, you've kind of got your grips. Okay, now if you grab a grip on your right hand, I find it can be a little on and off. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I find that if I take the grip finger and place it on my hip, and then from there pull out and pull left, you know, or drag out at hip height and then around, it kind of allows me to do what I want with no glitches. Okay, when I try and do full circles, the machine, it just freaks out. Okay, just do small turns at a time. You know, you can go slow, you can be quite accurate, just so you know, and if you're not completely accurate, you can just sidestep a little bit in the game just to kind of get to where you want to get to. Now, on the other grip finger, it's the same, but it doesn't rotate as you go. Okay, you kind of say, look, I want to go there, release, bam, I'm there. Okay, so you can kind of line it up, bam, line it up, bam. Okay, now as you can see, as I'm rotating it on the grip finger back on my right hand, where you're seeing a live representation of the table and you rotating around effectively the white ball on the table here, you can see the background disappears. Okay, now that's the motion. Okay, the motion sickness feature. Okay, so I didn't have that, and I was rotating, and the room was spinning around me, and I found it quite distracting. Whereas by doing this, you know, nothing's really moving around me, okay, and I'm feeling like that's pretty good. And to be honest, I don't mind that at all. Okay, I'm kind of focusing in on the table in here when I'm doing that. I like the fact that they've given you the options, okay, as well. Okay, so let me just kind of line myself up here. Okay, now I'm going to get my right hand closer towards the white ball with my cue. Okay, now you pull your trigger finger on the hand that's on the felt on the table that then locks in your cue, and at the moment I can't do anything except just move it backwards and forwards. Okay, and I can move my body around any angle, just so you know, to make that shot. So a big part of this pool is your body angle, your footing and things like that. Okay, and to make sure that you hold a constant motion in real life when you're playing real pool, to make sure that you're going to hit it the way you want to hit. In this VR world, it's not going to translate exactly like that. The physics of pool, of the ball bouncing the tables off the cushion across the felt, that all feels pretty natural. I don't sit here and feel dislocated like, oh man, I mean, I've played a bit of pool in my life. Not recently, but I have. I used to own a pool table. Okay, I'm not saying I'm good anymore, okay? But just know that, okay? Like, you don't go into this thinking, oh, I'm going to play, you know, this mini golf game like I do in real life. The translation is not there with the VR mechanics. It's a little bit different. You have to relearn it. Once you relearn it, though, it's fine, but you can kind of understand why they've done that as well, okay? Now, if I had a golf club as well as a table in front of me, I would be so much better at playing this game than what I'm about to be. Anyway, I'm going to put my hand down here. I'm going to lock it off, okay? Sorry, wrong finger. Lock it off. Okay, and I'm just going to swing into that. Now, it does take a little bit of getting used to, okay? You can't typically have your hand way behind you when you lock it off, because now my left hand is outside of the sensor range of my headset, okay, which is why I like to play short, as opposed to the traditional way, which would be longer. So my left hand, I always find out I like to kind of have it up against my ribs, just like one hand, so my sensors can see that controller. Okay, I come down, I line it up a bit with my feet, I lock it off, Okay, now my sensor, my left hand is still in the sensor range of my headset. Okay, and if I kind of follow through with that now, I can hit that soft. Okay, which I'm going to do now. Tap. Okay, I can hit that soft. Okay, and you can walk into the table just so you know. Okay, or come back a bit. Let's just recenter here. No, let's come back down. Where have we got? Let's come down. Let's go forward. Yeah, there we go. Something the whiteboard a bit closer to me. Done. Lock it off. And if you follow through, you can get, that was kind of a medium hit, to be honest. Okay, I'm going to try and get a nice hard one on this next one. Okay, the white ball's gone down the pocket. Okay, so left toggle allows you to roll the ghost ball around to where you want to get it. And at the same time, you can still move around the table and think, oh, which one do I want to go for? Let's bring that across to here. Okay, yeah, that's good. On your left toggle, okay, hit it down, and it kind of locks it in place. All right, so here we go. And now I'm going to go do this, lock that off. Okay. Cool. And you can see that went a bit harder then, okay. Takes a little bit of getting used to, okay. It took me a while. However, on this next one, watch this. I'm going to lock it off, right? But if I move my head, look at that. It moves the cue, okay. That's super annoying, and I don't understand why it does that. So I'm looking up and down. You know, when I first started playing this, I'm getting it looked up, and I'm looking up at the ball and looking back down. Next thing I know, I'm hitting the ball, and I'm thinking, the white ball, and I'm thinking, hey, so I haven't done anything. Did I move my left hand? I can't remember. Well, no, I didn't move it, but maybe I moved it a centimeter, and it's registered it as a 4 centimeter hit, you know. So it was really confusing, and just do not move your head once you've locked that off, okay? Let me try and get a nice strong hit here, okay? That's the goal. Okay, I'm going to lock it off. I'm going to move my body. No, like I said, you got to keep your controller forward so your headset can see it on your left hand. Once it's seen it, it kind of does a good job of kind of tracking them. Now, as you have just seen, you can get the ball hit quite hard. I do find, though, insofar as hitting the ball, it's easier to hit it softer than harder, and there's maybe a good chance that most people, when they first start playing, will fall into hitting it softer naturally until they kind of get used to the mechanics. Okay, and now you can see I'm getting the swing of it. I'm just kind of taking shots now. Done. It's all coming together. What have we got here? Orange ball, side right pocket. Oh! I do find it's better just to wait for the white ball to stop rolling before you try and orientate yourself. Okay. Boom. Okay, so it's starting to feel more natural. Okay, the more I play the game, you do get more natural at it. The biggest gripe is your head moves. Oh, look at that. Your head moves the cue, and I need to message them and just work out what's the reasoning behind that, or if it is a bug. Okay. Anyway, left flat button, bring up back up to the menu, exit out of there, go into whatever else you want. Okay, now that's it. I don't need to go through a whole game here. I just want to talk about the mechanics, how to play the game, and my expectations and experiences of playing the game. Overall, it's been a really, really positive experience, except for those little things that I spoke about, multiplayer and moving your head. Everything else, it seems really, really nice, and I really can't wait for this game to kind of grow and expand and have more environments. Okay, so get in here, support these guys. If you like Paul VR Sports, get the game. Anyway, let's just jump out of here and have a quick wrap up. I'll see you soon. There we go. That was Black Hole Paul. Do you like it? Do you want to get it? Do you have it? Do you like VR kinetic sport games? Put some questions below. Leave some comments. And don't forget, if you do put some questions, comments, effectively write something down there, or subscribe. Put a comment down. You have a chance to win one of those 2 copies of Squiggle. Big shout out to the devs for giving me those 2 copies to hand out to the VR community. And I will be announcing the winner very, very early next month. So make sure you watch that video so you can claim your prize. Now, overall, it was a positive experience, okay? And I played this game months ago, 10 months ago, I don't know, 12 months ago, and it kind of frustrated me trying to how to interact
with the game itself. You know, I'm playing other VR games and I'm thinking, oh, I'll just try and do it this way, try and do it that way, try and do a bit of locomotion or this and that, and it wasn't behaving the way that I would naturally expect it to behave. So I just kind of gave up at that point in time. And then recently I saw some people on Twitter, VR Twitter, and I mean, I don't think I've even told you guys. If you want to follow me on Twitter, do so. It's at TagHappyTV on my Twitter handle. Go check me out. Anyway, and I saw some people on Twitter playing the game, and I was like, you know what, I haven't played that in a while. This is starting to look really, really good. So I kind of jumped back into it and gave it another whirl. And overall, it was definitely a growth. The developers or developer behind it has definitely put a lot of effort into it. And I have to say, the physics felt good, how the ball rolled and bounced and hit off other balls, how it bounced off the cue. It was all really, really nice. The graphics were nice. Yes, there was a little bit of jaggedy edges, but overall, it was quite surprising how good the game was. It would have been nice to get more rooms to play in, and maybe in due course that will happen. And I'm a big fan of developers really focusing on and trying to getting the core mechanics of the game down before expanding in that regard. Okay, because building a room, I think in comparison to getting the core game down, is minuscule, okay? So you got your AIs, you got your multiplayers, you got your ranked games, you got your practices. Insofar as the multiplayer though, it was a little confusing. Typically you go into it and you kind of create a match, and then somebody else sees, oh, Tag Happy's created, do you want to join? And then I go, oh, this person wants to join the match I've created, yes. Or you create a room name, a room code, and the other person kind of just types it in, and then bingo, you're in the same room. Now, it doesn't appear to be like that on this particular game. It's you know, joining the Oculus party. Now, I've never done an Oculus party insofar as multiplayer, and of all the games I do have that are multiplayer, that was never really an option, okay? And I tried to jump online, just do a very quick search. I didn't want to purposely put too much effort into that, and I really couldn't find any quick tutorials explaining that process. Now, I'm going to go back and try and work out what that process is moving forward, okay? Because I'm probably going to say more and more games are going to start to use that. However, it would be nice to also have the option for just a room code, and then your mate just uses the room code, and then you can have multiple people maybe playing, and you can delegate maybe how many people. How many spectators versus players? I mean, you know, you could have 2-on-2 or 1-on-1. I don't know yet. Okay, this is somewhat of a first impressions versus a more in-depth review. Okay. The other thing I didn't really like, which is probably the biggest gripe I have in this particular game, is when you have kind of queued up your shot and you're going to go and hit it, if you move your head, the cue moves, and I don't know why. I'm thinking, is that a feature or a bug? And I'm thinking, if it's a feature, why is that beneficial to this game and how you interact with it? I just can't think of a reason why it would be beneficial. So I'm thinking it's a bug, but then I think it's like a really obvious bug, and why is it there? I don't know, but it's super, super annoying, okay? And when I first started to play this game, a big gripe I had back in the day, whether that was the issue specifically, were the struggle on how to use the controls, okay? A lot of games you jump into and it feels natural. This one, not so much. Now, I've given it a little bit of gameplay, not a lot, okay? Probably about 45 minutes, an hour, and I have to say, my progression in the VR mechanics has exponentially gotten better, and as soon as I worked out that you just don't move your head once you've locked off your cue to then hit the white ball, okay, you play a lot better. Another couple quick tips is, and I did try this, is if you're using a dining table or a table or something relatively waist height, even your kitchen bench, if you've got a bit of space and you can work your guardian out, if you can kind of get your in my instance, my right hand placed on the table, and then in the game you kind of circle around your spot anyway, you can then cement your right hand, and then it's just your left hand lining up the cue into the shot, as well as I have seen people using like VR accessories like the golf mini or the golf clubs attachments, and then that means they can then kind of reverse that as opposed to holding the handle or hold it the other way around, and then they're also getting more of a straight line coming into the white ball as well. Okay, it's the same concept that you get with a gun stock when you're playing first-person shooter. It's way easier if you're kind of connected as opposed to having two floaty hands overall. Now, if you're a big fan of pool, I recommend kind of trying this out, even just kind of VR sports in general, and they do have, I believe, a free demo, okay, so go check that out. I believe that's still the case, unless yeah, go check it out. Like if they got a free demo, just get it anyway, okay? Alternatively, they do have the paid version that kind of unlocks everything that they've kind of got going, the practice and things like that, okay? And it's not priced, not badly priced. I'm not going to say the price, but it's probably going to change over time, but it's not badly priced, okay? So I do recommend it. I'm happy it's part of my collection. I do want to kind of give it a bit more practice, and I've got a couple of mates that I know who would be keen to play pool in VR. So bonus there. Anyway, I'm Tag Happy VR. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, comment for your chance to win one of those 2 copies of Squingle. And below in the description is a link to some groovy Tag Happy merch. Till next time.